Good evening. After blowing past the deadline yesterday, negotiations are still ongoing between the TTC and the union representing its electrical and signal workers.
Wages remain a sticking point, with the union pushing for a pay raise, while the TTC argues it would place an unfair burden on customers. CTV's Mike Walker has been following the negotiations all weekend and joins us live now with more. Mike.
Well, Raheem and Andrea, two deadlines have passed, and both sides remain at the bargaining table with the help of a mediator. But at this point, there's no update on where negotiations stand. Both sides agreed to continue negotiations past Saturday's deadlines because they believe there has been enough progress to reach a deal. CUPE Local 2 says it wants to get a fair deal for about 700 electrical workers who install and maintain the TTC's electrical, signal, and communications systems. No word yet from either side today on where negotiations stand or how close or far from a tentative deal they are. Throughout negotiations this weekend, the union has stated wages and scheduling are the sticking points. CUPE has said competitive wages are critical to a safe and reliable transit system, but the TTC says what the union is proposing would cost an additional $40 million over the term of the agreement, and that would place an unfair burden on taxpayers and transit users. Now, if the deal isn't reached and there is a work stoppage, the TTC says it has a contingency plan in place to continue the work and ensure service continues, but CUPE has argued the TTC will be less safe and reliable. The union president has insisted they don't want to strike and hope to get a fair deal. Now, unlike yesterday, there is no deadline imposed for negotiations. We're told that they are continuing at this hour and are awaiting an update from either the TTC or CUPE Local 2. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Raheem and Andrea, back to you.
Thanks for that, Mike. Staying with the TTC, commuters along Finch West are taking replacement buses, while Line 6 is closed for the long weekend through Tuesday. Metrolink says workers are carrying out system and performance upgrades ahead of the FIFA World Cup next month. Meanwhile, planned construction means there is no train service on the Kitchener-Go line. Replacement buses are running instead. The final stop for riders heading into the city is Highway 407 station, where they can transfer to the TTC. Barrie Line trains are only traveling as far south as Downsview Park Station. Train service resumes Tuesday with some schedule adjustments. Still to come, the World Health Organization says an Ebola outbreak in Central Africa is of international concern. We'll have those details a little later in the newscast.
A man in his 30s is dead following a stabbing in Rexdale. Police were called to an apartment in the area of Kipling Avenue and Albion Road around midnight. They found a man suffering from stab wounds inside a unit in the building. He was rushed to hospital where he later died. Police say a suspect was arrested a short time later near the apartment. They provided an update on the investigation this morning.
It appears that the victim and the suspect are known to each other. As such, there's no threats to public safety. You will see a number of officers in the area who will be canvassing and speaking to witnesses. If anyone who may have seen anything can contact our homicide and missing person unit at 416-808-7400, or Crime Stoppers at 416-222-TIPS.
Police are not releasing the victim's identity at this time.
U.S. officials have arrested an Iraqi man accused of plotting several attacks on sites linked to the Jewish community and the shooting at the U.S. consulate back in March. Nobody was hurt when shots were fired at the U.S. consulate or a number of synagogues in the city that month. According to a complaint unsealed Friday, 32-year-old Mohammed Bakr Saad Sawood al-Sadi plotted several attacks in support of Iran-backed terror groups in several countries. Prosecutors say he directed and urged other people to attack U.S., Israeli, and Jewish targets in response to the war in the Middle East. Al-Sadi was taken to New York after his arrest in Turkey and wasn't required to enter a plea.
A Mississauga man is facing more than 130 animal cruelty charges after police found more than 60 cats in his possession. 38-year-old Chang Yu has been arrested and charged with 134 counts of causing unnecessary suffering to animals. Police executed a search warrant on April 23rd after having received reports of multiple incidents in which kittens were sold in poor condition and died shortly after being taken to their new homes. During the search, investigators found 57 kittens and 8 adult cats who were transported to an animal rescue center. Yu was also arrested during the search.
Police have provided an update on a search for a teen who has been missing for 2 days. 14-year-old Esther was last seen around 11 p.m. on Friday near Earl Bales Park in the area of Bathurst and Shepherd. She is described as standing roughly 5'2" with a medium build and brown hair. She was last seen wearing gray sweatpants, a green shirt and no shoes.
Toronto police have been scouring the area ever since that time. We have horses coming this afternoon. We've had mounted unit. Well, they're attending. Marine unit are going to be in the area as well. They've searched the area. We've also had our drones in the air that have heat capabilities to search for heat signatures, and officers have been on the ground. I'm very thankful for the community outpouring that's been here and the support from the neighbors who've been coming down and trying to help with this search as well. Because of the thoroughness of the search, we are not leaving this location because it's the last known position for Esther.
Police are asking anyone who sees Esther to contact them immediately.
Durham Regional Police are investigating a collision in Clarington. They posted on social media around 12:20 p.m. that Trolls Road was closed from Taunton Road to Prince Rupert Drive for a collision. An SUV and a pickup collided in the area. Police have not provided any details about injuries, only saying that the crash was not fatal. They stated they would provide more information once the investigation is complete.
A woman was sent to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries following a single vehicle crash early this morning. It happened around 3 a.m. on Strawn Avenue just south of Queen. The vehicle ended up on its side after striking a parked car. The cause of the crash is still being investigated. Meanwhile, one person was injured in a single vehicle crash in Vaughan early this morning. OPP were called to the Highway 427 North off-ramp to Rutherford Road just before 2. They found a damaged vehicle in a ditch in the area. One person was taken to hospital with serious injuries.
Police across Ontario are carrying out road safety initiatives this long weekend. There will be increased numbers of ride checks. Officers are also monitoring for people speeding or distracted driving. The OPP is urging drivers to pay attention when they are behind the wheel.
Get off your cell phones. That one glimpse where you're not looking ahead is going to cost a little bit. I mean, that's the risk that everybody plays with. And we strongly say get off your phones. And seatbelts. We're constantly, saying seatbelt saves lives, and they do. It's a #1 life-saving thing and can also reduce your chances of any serious injuries.
And police will be on hand for the city's Victoria Day fireworks display tomorrow night. It will take place at Ashbridges Bay at 10 p.m. on Monday.
A new food market has taken over a portion of the waterfront this long weekend. The Festival of Flavours is underway at Sugar Beach. More than 50 international vendors are taking part in the event. The outdoor market also includes games, face painting, and live salsa dancing.
We're so happy to be here at Sugar Beach. We are launching the Festival of Flavours by Street Eats Market. We have an eclectic mix of global foods right here. Everything from Asian cuisine to Greek food to Indian cuisine and so much more. We have free face painting on site. There is a ton of activities. We have an 18-foot huge gummy bear on the beach right now. Amazing photo ops. And yeah, there's a bunch of opportunities here to just binge out, have a great time. We have a great forecast going forward for the May long weekend. And yeah, just come on and have a great time.
The festival is on until 10 tonight, and it returns tomorrow as well, running from 12 to 8 p.m.
More news in a moment. Here's first a live look at the weather, and what a day, Mr. Ladani. You had the day off.
I got out and went for a nice walk.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have the day off, but he's filling in for me tonight. So he got to enjoy the day, and yeah, it was just fantastic. Maybe, I'm not going to say the H word, but yeah, it was a little hot, but we can't complain right now. So let's take a look, folks. This is what we are expecting to move into our area. We have some light to moderate rain potentially moving in. It's more to the north of us, but there could be a thunderstorm. You can see that red patch there. That's heavy. As we look at our current temperatures, look at that. Orange is hot. 26 in Hamilton, 26 in Niagara Falls, and 29. The hot spot is Windsor. And As we look at our Toronto Islands, currently 20 degrees. It's always a little cooler down by the water, 24 at Pearson, and the low tonight is going to be 12 degrees with a 40% chance of rain and thunder showers. Raheem.
Thanks, Andrea. A search is underway in Mount Tremblant for Liam Toman, a 22-year-old from Whitby who was last seen in February of last year.
His family says despite the length of time he's been missing, they're determined to find him. CTV's Denise Roberts has more on this continuing search.
All across Tremblant Village are posters, wristbands and flyers with Liam Toman's name and face. His family are here once again to refresh the search effort.
And now we're introducing the blue wristbands. And this is our circle of strength. And the strength comes from all of the community, all of the supporters that have been giving us the strength.
That community of support has widened to include friends, strangers, and some very determined canines from Search and Rescue Canada, a volunteer organization that trains dogs in cadaver detection.
We can provide you resources that not a lot of people have, so if we can do that and be there for the family, it's just really our goal.
The dogs were joined by more than 90 volunteers, combing a new search area outside the village. But as skilled as these dogs are, there is very little information for them to go on. Liam Toman was last seen on this surveillance footage, leaving a bar at 3:20 a.m. on February 2nd, 2025. He never made it back to his hotel. His wallet was found in a parking lot a month later. Since his disappearance, his family has made the 6-hour trip from Whitby, Ontario to Mont Tremblant more than 17 times to aid in the search.
It hits your heart because you're coming back and you don't want to come, but we're coming for Liam.
The family is working closely with SQ investigators and a $50,000 reward has been set up. The family has also lobbied the town to have more camera surveillance in the village, something they say could have helped them find Liam.
There's been some changes in the security protocols and that, new surveillance cameras, everything else, and that's a win for us.
Liam's phone was never found, and the family is working with a digital forensic expert to trace it. The ground search will continue, and the Tomans say they will continue to return here as long as it takes.
Any parent would do whatever they need to do to find their child.
And you keep moving because you know you're going to find the answers and you're going to solve this. We know we're going to find Liam.
Denise Roberts, CTV News.
Ottawa and Alberta have reached a deal paving the way for a new pipeline to the West Coast, but it comes as that province grapples with a possible referendum on independence.
Premier Danielle Smith was on Question Period, and host Vashi Kapelos asked if her government's push to allow a vote on separation makes Alberta appear like a riskier place to invest.
Standing on a stage with the Prime Minister, shaking hands, signing an agreement that we've been working on diligently for 6 months. That to me is a demonstration of how our country should work and how our country can work and how it works when you've got a partner in a Prime Minister who respects the role of the provinces. We don't agree on everything, but where we disagree, we work together to find accommodation. This is the process that we go through to create a constructive outcome for Canada as well as for Alberta. And I'm just hoping that I'll be able to convince more and more people that's the case.
The pipeline to the Pacific doesn't have a private proponent yet, but Alberta and Ottawa say the goal is for construction to start in September 2027.
When I look at what we're doing, and I will take a really, if we're going to get into numbers, for example, about how we're doing it, we're actually doing the hard work to electrify our economy. We're doing the hard work with provinces and territories. They control a lot of these tools. So we can have a great plan on paper, but if the provinces and territories aren't on board, and if we're fighting them and we're fighting in court, then we're not actually getting it done. So what I see is actually a collaborative plan that moves us forward to make sure that we have more renewables, that we continue to build out our grid.
Smith's government is appealing a decision by an Alberta judge to quash a separatist question, saying the province hadn't met its constitutional duty to consult with First Nations. As for the pipeline proposal, there has been pushback from BC's government and First Nations. The federal environment minister, meanwhile, defended the decision, who you just heard from, to delay implementation on a higher industrial carbon tax in Alberta.
The May long weekend is the first real test of whether Canadians are willing to pay the price it costs to hit the road this summer.
CTV's Kamal Karmali has more on what choices people are making and the changes to keep their budget in check.
This is our trailer.
This travel trailer is supposed to be on the road this May long weekend.
And then my girls sleep out here.
But instead, it's sitting idle.
There's no way that we can afford this right now, and we need to reel it back.
And just like its owner, Lauren Conroy, it'll be at a standstill most of the summer.
We usually camp at least 5 times a year with our trailer, but this year we can't because we can't afford the gas to haul it anywhere.
High gas prices ranging between 190 cents to over $2 per liter in parts of the country. A ripple effect of the war between the U.S. and Iran and a stalemate over the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil shipping corridor. All of it has Canadians traveling less this holiday weekend.
I don't like the price of fuel, but, you know, if you want to play, you got to pay, right?
And across Ontario, campgrounds full of people choosing to camp within the province, not willing to drive too far. This Ontario-based family had plans to take this RV out west to Alberta, but that trip brought to a screeching halt when they saw how much it cost to fill even half a tank.
I had half to 3/4 of a tank of fuel, so I thought I'd top it up. I shut it off at $400. So that makes pretty much my decision on whether I'm going to be going anywhere this summer.
With the continued instability in the Middle East and all of the impacts to the broader energy system, we're going to see these high prices for a while.
For Lauren Conroy and her family, they've now planned for a summer at home.
It is frustrating. Prices just need to back off a little bit.
In hopes of that relief happening next year. Kamal Karmali, CTV News, Doro, Ontario.
Statistics Canada is set to publish new inflation data on Tuesday, with economists expecting it will show the annual rate topping 3% in April for the first time since 2023. A Reuters poll of economists indicates they expect the rate to rise to 3.1% in April, up from 2.4% in March. The economists are placing the blame on higher gas prices, saying that the average price of gas rose an additional 8% in April after a 21% surge in March. Government offices, banks and libraries will be closed on Monday, but it will also be the first Victoria Day that retailers across Ontario will have the option to stay open.
The Ford government announced the change earlier this year, but it's been met with mixed reaction from both businesses and shoppers. CTV's Kimberly Johnson reports.
The doors of Plato's Closet will stay closed on Monday, despite having the option to be open for the entire long weekend for the first time.
It costs us a lot more to stay open on the Monday. It's like time and a half.
Earlier this year, the Ford government announced it would allow retailers to be open for Victoria Day and Family Day in Ontario.
I think for small businesses, it can be a little bit more challenging because you have to pay people a lot more to stay open.
Manager Darla Coles says this can be one of the store's biggest weekends, so they want staff to be able to enjoy some time off once the weekend shopping rush is done.
Give our staff just a little bit of a break. They work really hard, so we just want to give them the day off.
While some are choosing to close for the holiday Monday as usual, many businesses plan to take up the new opportunity to keep their hours, including malls and several large retailers.
It's fine. It gives businesses an extra day to sell products and services and make money. It's also good from a consumer perspective because it offers more convenience.
All the power to anybody who wants to do it, I think.
The provincial government says this is about creating more choice for families while supporting businesses and staff who want to work.
This is the first year that it's being done, so a lot of businesses will probably give it a try, and then they'll gauge it and decide whether they want to open next year.
This retail analyst notes that since being open is voluntary, shoppers should make sure that they know the stores they want to go to will be participating.
I think that's amazing because lately, especially during COVID times and after COVID times, a lot of businesses suffered. We really need to boost business, boost economy.
I won't be shopping. I just feel bad for the people that have to work instead of getting a long weekend.
I think that it's financially probably good for the stores. However, everybody deserves a break.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News.
When you think about Prince Edward Island, aerospace is likely not the first industry that comes to mind.
But earlier this week, a company there landed a record investment to play a role in Canada's defense strategy. CTV's Maria Saru has the details.
small components inspected carefully, part of the quality control measures at MDS Coating Technologies in Summerside. Up to 120 more workers are expected to join the team, backed by $110 million in federal and provincial funding, split nearly down the middle.
It's a big investment, but it's totally worth it.
Federal Industry Minister Melanie Joly says it's Ottawa's largest investment in PEI's aerospace sector and part of a wider push to strengthen Canada's defense industry. This company's coating technology protects turbine engine parts from degradation, extending their life, improving fuel efficiency, and lowering emissions. Operations Vice President Adam Casey says MDS got its start in military applications.
These coatings on helicopter engines can make those helicopters available when you need them and operate with the parameters you need, so I think that's a critical component.
The new funding supports a project that'll expand the local facility by 50,000 square feet and add new equipment. While PEI's economy has long been built on agriculture, fisheries and tourism, Premier Rob Lance said advanced manufacturing and aerospace are now becoming a bigger part of its growth.
Today's announcement shows what a small island is capable of when innovation, vision and strategic investment come together.
For CEO Phil Roger, the goal is to make the growth global.
We're not talking about just a lone coating shop in PEI, being the best in the world.
On the island, that means more skilled jobs in a sector developing steadily, and for Canada, more of its aerospace supply chain being built at home. Maria Sru, CTV News, Summerside, Prince Edward Island.
The World Health Organization has declared an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, a public health emergency of international concern.
Infectious disease specialist Isaac Bogosh says he believes there may be more cases than have been confirmed as officials work to contain the spread.
All these numbers that we're hearing about known cases and sadly the known number of deaths are probably a significant underestimate. It's probably much larger because it's at the very early phase of the outbreak, and the type of Ebola virus that it isn't necessarily picked up on some of their routine screening and testing. So sadly, this is going to mushroom into a much larger outbreak.
The WHO says the outbreak does not meet the criteria of a pandemic, but countries that share land borders with the affected nations are at a high risk of further spread. The UN Health Agency says there are 80 suspected deaths linked to the virus, along with 8 lab-confirmed cases and 246 suspected cases. The WHO says there are currently no approved virus-specific vaccines or therapeutics.
We need, in Africa, to start to say we must manufacture vaccines, medicines that we need, because we cannot on a daily basis, when we have an outbreak, to be on panic mode. Currently, I'm on panic mode because people are dying. I don't have medicines. I don't have vaccine to support countries. Yesterday, I called for a meeting of all partners. We have some candidate vaccine, some candidate medicine. We are pursuing this route. We hope that we can have something in the next coming weeks.
Meanwhile, the Public Health Agency of Canada has confirmed a positive case of hantavirus in a Canadian isolating in BC after leaving the cruise ship affected by a deadly outbreak.
The main concern we have is, have we been able to identify everyone who may have been at risk? So, as you know, some people were passengers on the ship, like this individual, and so far most of the cases that we've seen have been in that kind of person. But what about secondary contacts, people that they may have come in contact with that maybe weren't identified and therefore are not under quarantine? So that's where some of the, I guess, worry or concern can arise. But so far, at least, those don't seem to have appeared, and I guess we're going to really watch and see if further kinds of secondary cases pop up.
The National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg confirmed the presumptive result from BC. Officials say a second person who traveled with the individual has tested negative. The Public Health Agency says there have been no further cases identified at this time, adding that all high-risk contacts are isolating and will continue to be monitored closely by local public health. It also says the overall risk to the general population linked to the cruise ship outbreak remains low.
There was a swift condemnation from China today after a Canadian MP made a visit to Taiwan.
Conservative foreign affairs critic Michael Chong is set to meet with officials in the coming days, including the self-governing island's president. CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports.
It's a trip to Taiwan with specific goals.
Making a clear statement that we will not be manipulated by the People's Republic of China.
That is Conservative MP and foreign affairs critic Michael Chong's intended message, to show solidarity with a democracy at the front lines of intimidation from the People's Republic of China and assert Canada is a sovereign and independent country that does not take direction from a foreign government about where Canadian MPs can travel internationally. A reference to comments made by China's ambassador in an interview with the Globe and Mail last month, warning visits to Taiwan like this by parliamentarians could damage trade relations between the two countries.
Let's be clear, China won't like it, and China doesn't like when parliamentarians or senators or congressmen and women visit Taiwan.
In a statement to CTV News today, China's embassy condemned the trip, arguing it contravenes a red line for China-Canada relations, urging Canada to refrain from interfering in China's internal affairs. Taiwan is a self-governed island, but China has long claimed ownership of the territory. Canada's policy has long been to take note of China's claim without challenging or endorsing it.
I get the geopolitics, and I know that the current government of Canada is trying to diversify. I'm not sure that China would be the choice of the best dance partner when it comes to being a country that's aligned on values.
Welcome. Prime Minister Mark Carney traveled to China in January, a trip that led to tariffs being removed from Canadian canola products and some Chinese EVs being given access to the Canadian market, along with the signing of a new strategic partnership.
A senior government official tells CTV News the foreign affairs minister is in regular contact with her Chinese counterparts, and efforts continue on both sides to further a diplomatic thaw. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
To the Middle East now, where a drone strike sparked a fire on the edge of the United Arab Emirates' only nuclear plant today.
Authorities didn't directly blame anyone, but the incident highlighted the risk of renewed war as the U.S. and Iran signal they're ready to fight again. The UAE's defense ministry says it dealt successfully with 2 drones, while a third one hit a generator near the plant. The UAE has previously accused Iran of attacking its energy targets and what it called an escalation of the conflict in the region. Washington and Tehran have been exchanging proposals around nuclear development and the Strait of Hormuz to keep a shaky ceasefire going. U.S. President Donald Trump wrote on Truth Social today, for Iran, the clock is ticking, and they better get moving fast or there won't be anything left of them. Time is of the essence.
A ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon has been extended, but residents on both sides of the border say fighting never really stopped.
I think there is no ceasefire. I mean, that's what Trump said with Iran, but here it's still both sides are bombing.
Hezbollah militants and Israeli forces have been exchanging fire with the IDF, also carrying out deadly strikes in southern Lebanon. Hundreds of thousands remain displaced as Israel says it's targeting members of the Iran-backed group. Also today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed the killing of a senior official in Hamas's military wing on Friday. This comes as medics in Gaza say Israeli strikes killed at least 8 Palestinians today. The Israeli military said it killed a militant who posed an immediate threat to forces in the area. Both sides say the other is failing to comply with their faltering ceasefire.
Axios is reporting, citing classified intelligence, that Cuba has acquired more than 300 military drones and has been discussing plans to use them to attack U.S. bases and ships. A senior U.S. official says the intelligence which could become a pretext for U.S. military action shows how concerned the Trump administration is about Cuba. The concerns are linked to developments in drone warfare and the presence of Iranian military advisors in Havana.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says drones have attacked the Moscow region in Russia. Zelensky says the strikes are in response to recent Russian attacks. A high-rise residential building in Moscow was hit, with at least 4 people killed in the largest attack by Ukraine in over a year. Russia's defense ministry says more than 500 drones were downed over the country overnight and into the morning.
There's some political maneuvering happening across the pond as the ruling Labour Party gears up for a leadership challenge against Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
If you think you're good enough to do the top job, if you think you've got the right ideas for the country, you should be prepared to put them forward, test them against other competitors and win an election. And that was the choice that I made.
Former Health Secretary Wes Streeting confirmed he plans to trigger a challenge that could remove Starmer as Labour leader and PM, but he said that could wait for at least one high-profile opponent to enter the race. As Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham looks to secure a seat in Parliament, Keir Starmer has stood by his record as PM, but critics within his Labour Party have gotten increasingly vocal after losses to the populist right-wing Reform Party in recent local elections.
Pride Month is still a few weeks away, but today marks the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia and Biphobia. Among those sharing thoughts on the occasion today was Prime Minister Mark Carney. He posted, "Pride is a promise that every Canadian can live safely, openly and proudly as themselves. On the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia and Biphobia, we recommit ourselves to fight for the dignity, security and equal rights of 2S LGBTQIA+ people in Canada and around the world." Still to come, women's sports is on the rise.
The leagues are quickly growing in popularity and expanding their reach.
It's just so important for all the little girls to see that their dreams can become possible.
We'll have more on the new teams that are becoming some of the hottest tickets in town when we come back.
Well, yesterday we were complaining about the inconsistency. Today we got it.
Today we got it. Today we got it. And it's great that it's this long week, because we've had long weekends where the weather has just been horrible.
Yeah.
And so this is great for everybody who wants to get out and have some fun. And of course, tomorrow we will both be here. So if it's too hot for you, stay inside and watch the news.
Yeah, 100%. I was telling you that I saw people today, they had the top down on their car, they were blaring the music, and people were out enjoying it, right? This is what you want. This is what the May Long Weekend is all about.
This is what it should be all about.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone be safe out there and don't drink and drive. Let's take a look at the weather, everybody. Yeah, we can see that it is looking pretty good right now. 24 degrees. There is, I think there's a little bit of humidity, but 24 is the official temperature. 29 in Windsor. Windsor's always the hot spot. As we look at our lows for this evening, it's going to be comfortable. 12 degrees, just a little above normal for this time of year. And of course, there's some thunder showers to contend with. So if you've been doing some gardening this weekend, that's good news for your plants. They're going to get watered. I know my lawn is looking pretty good right now. Tomorrow morning, 12 degrees. We've got some fog patches. So if you're out going for a bike ride or a run early, you want to watch out for that, because that rolls right through to past 7 a.m. Slowly, the temperature rises. It's going to be 18 degrees at 9 a.m. And that's when the sun begins to peak out. We're going to have a light wind. As you can see, there is a heat warning in effect, because we're going to be hitting a daytime temperature forecasted at 30 degrees. Now, that is the forecasted temperature. There's going to be humidex on top of that. It can feel as much as 35 degrees tomorrow in Toronto. So really, if you're going to be out exerting yourself, drink lots of water. And if you can, wear a hat. Highs tomorrow, you can see it right there. 35 is what they are predicting, the humidex. 36 in Waterloo and Niagara Falls. So this is what we've all been complaining about, saying it's been too cold. Last week, I was still wearing a winter hat, gloves, and coat. So, you know, here it is. As we look tomorrow evening, well, tonight, Vaughan has fireworks in Wonderland. There's going to be a chance of rain. So I say 60% no chance of rain. Ashbridge is ready tomorrow, 21 degrees. So there you go. Looking ahead at the next week, everybody. We've talked about Monday, Tuesday, rain, but look at that, 30 degrees again. And then it gets a little cooler. We'll be complaining that it's too cold. 16 degrees, 15, and really overall not a bad week. And it's nice and cool in the evenings for sleeping. Raheem.
All right, thanks for that, Andrea. The Blue Jays were looking for a second straight win when they wrapped up their series with the Detroit Tigers this afternoon.
Here's a well-hit ball, left field, and it is gone!
Is he back? Is Vladdy back? A 6-game hitless streak is gone with the solo homer in the top of the first inning. Toronto would go on to win the game 4-1. The Jays will be heading to the Bronx tomorrow to begin a 4-game series with the New York Yankees. Women's sporting events are some of the hottest tickets in town, and it appears the leagues are only growing in popularity.
The leagues themselves are also growing, with the Toronto Tempo joining the WNBA and Hamilton set to get a PWHL team. CTV's Heather Wright has more.
Can you hear the roar from the Hammer? The PWHL is coming to the Hammer.
It's just so important for all the little girls to see that their dreams can become possible.
The league has also announced new teams in Detroit and Las Vegas, bringing the total number of clubs to 11, with plans to soon make it an even dozen. The PWHL says 15% of its current players come from the Hamilton area, and a new team here is a big boost for those hoping to make it to the pros.
I think it's a great opportunity for young female athletes in Hamilton, and from us being from Hamilton and getting to represent Hamilton, playing junior hockey is just a great opportunity.
Women's sports are experiencing a surge in popularity. The Toronto Tempo tipped off last week with a sellout crowd for its inaugural home game, the first WNBA franchise outside of the United States. The cross in! While the Northern Super League kicked off its second season, following an historic year one that saw it quickly become the third highest attended women's football league in the world. These leagues attracting not only fans, but sponsors as well.
It's gone beyond a foundational stage to really gaining momentum.
Carrie Watson is with Westland Insurance, one of the inaugural sponsors of the Northern Super League. She says corporate support for women's sport is crucial to not only helping new leagues get off the ground, but also ensuring Canadian athletes have an opportunity to play and develop here at home.
It was an exciting time for us to really support bringing those athletes home and having a great product on the field for our girls and women to be inspired by across Canada.
Hamilton's new hockey team will play here at TD Coliseum, which has a capacity of up to 18,000 fans. They will likely have an early rivalry with the nearby Toronto Scepters, two teams playing just 70 kilometers apart. It's yet another indication of the popularity of women's sports. Heather Wright, CTV News, Hamilton, Ontario.
Well, the Tempo will be back on the court tonight to take on the Los Angeles Sparks.
Perhaps not in this game, but certainly overall, and they're going to look for her. Plum has just got the Midas touch in this game.
The team is coming off a 99-95 loss to the Sparks on Friday. Tip-off for the rematch tonight is just after 7 p.m. in L.A.
Oklahoma City Thunder guard and Hamiltonian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been named the NBA's most valuable player for a second straight season. The win makes SGA the 14th player in NBA history to win back-to-back MVP awards. Steve Nash is the only other Canadian to accomplish the feat, winning back-to-back awards in 2005 and 2006. Gilgeous-Alexander helped guide the Thunder to the best record in the NBA for a second straight season, and the team is set to take on the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA's Western Conference Final starting tomorrow.
Still to come, changing rules for Victoria Day shopping.
For the first time, retailers will be able to open their doors on the holiday Monday.
I think for small businesses, it can be a little bit more challenging because you have to pay people a lot more to stay open.
We showed you that story earlier in the newscast, but we'll have more coverage coming up.
Absolutely.
We return now to our top story, the ongoing negotiations between the TTC and the union representing its electrical and signal workers. CTV's Mike Walker joins us live once again with the latest. Mike.
Well, Raheem, we're still waiting for an update at this hour from either the TTC or CUPE Local 2 on how negotiations have progressed today. We know the deadline passed 6 o'clock Saturday evening, but both sides agreed to continue negotiations last night and throughout today because they believe progress is being made to reach a deal. Now, sticking points, according to the union, remain to be wages and scheduling. They're looking for a better deal that represents the work represents the value of the work their members perform. We're talking about 700 electrical and signal workers. No word from either side today, Raheem, on where negotiations stand, how close or far they are from potentially a deal. In the event there is no deal and there is a work stoppage, either a lockout or a strike, the TTC says it has contingency plans in place to continue the work and ensure that service continues without any shutdowns, but the union has raised concerns, if that happens, about the safety and reliability of the TTC. So as far as it stands right now, negotiations continue, and unlike yesterday, there is no imposed deadline. So we will continue to monitor this and wait for any updates on where those negotiations stand from either the TTC or CUPE Local 2, who insists they want to get a deal, they don't want to strike. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Raheem, back to you.
Thanks for that, Mike.
The Toronto Public Library is reminding users that some of its online services aren't available right now. Planned system maintenance means users aren't able to log into their accounts on the browser or the TPL app. It's scheduled to be done by noon on Tuesday, and as we mentioned earlier, library locations are closed tomorrow for Victoria Day. Communities across the country are dealing with a shortage of family doctors and the remaining physicians struggling with a heavier workload.
Now a small New Brunswick community has received some hope for those looking for care. CTV's Laura Brown reports.
The calm before the morning rush at this healthcare clinic. These offices will soon be occupied by patients, but they won't necessarily be seen by a family doctor. It could be a nurse practitioner, dietitian, or therapist. Because a team of healthcare professionals now work here, a positive change for longtime family physician Dr. Allison Kennedy.
The hope for recruitment is much better now. We have both a physical setting and an administrative support, I think, that will be attractive to recruit to. I couldn't have said that last year.
After 4 decades working in the village of Perth Andover, Dr. Kennedy is open to retiring in the next few years, but he was worried about who would care for his patients. Not as much anymore.
There's hope and a good medical home to give to patients.
With the help of the province, his practice has transformed into a collaborative care clinic, a team to share the load and take on unattached patients from the province's doctor waitlist. Tammy McPhail is on board. She lost her doctor to retirement 3 years ago.
He had delivered my 3 children. He'd seen me since I was 16.
She then learned about the collaborative care model. As mayor-elect of the village, McPhail is now trying to help others understand the model too.
And as they see these providers at our clinics, they're going to understand it doesn't always, not everything has to come from the family doctor.
New Brunswick is going all in on these clinics. 14 have been established in the last 18 months. Another 16 are promised by 2028. The goal for this one, to remove almost 1,000 patients from the wait list, which now sits at 127,000 people.
These are my friends and neighbors. We hate to say no, that we weren't able to meet their needs. I think more now we're going to be able to say yes.
Laura Brown, CTV News, Perth Andover, New Brunswick.
Shania Twain will host the 61st Academy of Country Music Awards in Las Vegas tonight. It'll be the first time the Canadian country music icon will host a show, which was previously hosted by Reba McEntire for many, many years. The event was held in Texas for the past 3 years, will now move to the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Singer-songwriter Megan Moroney leads all performers with 9 nominations.
Moviegoers are still rocking with Michael 4 weeks after it hit theaters.
Y'all willing to fight for it?
Yes, sir.
Ready whenever you are, Michael.
I can't hit that note. The biopic telling the story of the rise of the King of Pop was back on top of the weekend box office with $26.1 million in ticket sales across North America. The Devils Wear Prada 2, meanwhile, slipped into second place with $18 million. And psychological horror flick Obsession debuted in third with $16.1 million.
Still to come, running atop one of the world's most iconic landmarks.
Hundreds of runners took part in the Great Wall Marathon today. We'll have more on the unique competition in northern China when we come back. Welcome back. Nearly 1,500 runners from more than 50 countries took part in the 23rd Great Wall Marathon in northern China today, running along one of the world's most iconic landmarks. The event, which was first held in 1999, has grown from roughly 350 runners to an international race, which has attracted tens of thousands of participants over the years. Organizers say it's one of the world's toughest marathon courses, featuring uneven stone steps and a number of steep climbs.
Good grief. I noticed the camera person, they went a certain distance and then they just kind of went this way and then this way. Yeah,
They're like, we got the shot.
Yeah, we got the shot. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, congratulations to anyone who did that. Let's take a final look at your weather, everybody. We are looking, we can see we've got some rain coming in. It could be a burst of a thunderstorm, depending on where you are. It's tracking to go really north, kind of through the city, but to the north. So depending on which way the wind's blowing, we may kind of escape the heavy downpour. You can see right now, 24 degrees in Toronto, beautiful, 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 29 in Windsor, that's the hot spot. Looking ahead the next 7 days, the heat continues. Monday, we do have a warning because it's going to feel like 35 degrees with the humidex. And then we've got some rain, some sun, mixed throughout the week, and it gets a little cooler. So if you're complaining about the rain today, folks, wait a few days. We'll be sure to join us tonight at 11 for the CTV National News with Heather Butts, followed by our next local newscast with the one and only Raheem Ladani.
I'll be here. In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CB24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
Can you tell I'm happy I've got a night off, everybody? I love you, but I'm out of here. For all of us here at CTV News, in front of and behind the camera, good night, everybody.
Stay up with me, please.
Yes, 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 yes. What he said, what he said.